What's up, everybody? And today we are going over some Battlefield 2042 kind of news and lore and a few other bits and bobs. We obviously did the reaction not long ago to the Portal. It's called Portal, right? I think it's called Portal. And I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. It's going to be huge on my channel. Obviously, we're going to cover a lot of the story and the lore. And with that being said, there's a new thing coming out on the 12th of August, 8 a.m. PDT, 5 p.m. EST. All right, CEST. It's a short story. Now, we know that Battlefield 2042 doesn't have a campaign. It does not have a campaign, which I said in my initial talk is okay as long as they do follow through with the multiplayer having a story, right? Kind of like how Warzone do it. I don't mind that. I find it kind of fun to search for the story and find clues and uncover things over time. I do prefer a single, player story mode. But if they're going to do this and they do it well, then I'm okay with it. So with that being said, there's a little bit of a trailer, and then we're going to go over some lore that I haven't even seen yet. Okay, guys? So let me just pull this trailer up. You can actually watch this trailer on the premiere for the Exodus short film. I think the Exodus short film is supposed to be about 9 minutes long, and it's a cinematic story trailer film thing. So I'm excited for that. But if you go on to the premiere, it has a trailer. So we're going to watch the trailer real quick, and then we're going to go over some lore, okay? So let's watch this real quick.
The world wants to forget we exist. We will force them to see.
Ooh. Okay, let me break this down a little bit. So we know this is got to be the expats talking, right? What's it say? Target Oz, alias unknown, interception unit USS Raven Rock, Naval Signal Corps. Date of transmission 2010-2042. Anything else there? Running TR, and then we got some what looks like really good graphics here. Like, you're looking like that's like movie quality right there. Yeah, looks fantastic. You can guarantee we're going to be watching this on the channel. I'm definitely going to watch this and react to it on the channel. If you guys are up for that, let me know in the comments down below. But before we also carry on with that, if you head over to the Battlefield 2042 website, if you remember a while back when they first announced it, we went over this lore right here. Remember? It's like the rise of the expats, how it happened, and how we basically, it's literally called Welcome to 2042, and this is how it started. However, if you go over there, there's another part now. So how we got here is the one that we originally watched on this channel. Now there's a new one called Journey of the Nopats. Join the Nopats fleets and discover the history of the distinct locations in Battlefield 2042 through the eyes of specialists and an enabled journalist embedded journalist Kayvan Bechir. So you click on that and it brings up an interactive map, which I think is pretty damn cool, if you ask me. And then it has like a countdown right here to the trailer. But if we look at this, let's look at the start of this, shall we? We'll go through some of this. I'm really excited to learn more about this lore. So let's go through this, okay? Discover the locations of the Battlefield 2042 through the eyes of Nopats. I said in the previous lore video that I did for Battlefield 2042, I'm all about it. I'm all about these Nopats. I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great premise. And I think it kind of seems realistic in a way of what could happen. I thought I was an objective journalist, seeking to find out if Nopats were the villains of the world, villains the world made them out to be. Little did I know that the answer would take me around the globe to places now engulfed by war. I set out to report their story, but has become my own. This is our journey. Kayvan Bechir, Nopat Signal Corps. So, my guess is this is what the short story is going to be. It's going to be following this guy, is it? Maybe. Anyway, if you click on the first location, like part 1 here, where the arrow starts, let me scroll down a little more. We've got some dialogue to the right behind my head. So let me see if I can. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check this little bit of cheeky maneuvering, guys. I am going to flip me, and I'm going to put me over here. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Skills. Okay, part 1, escape the Doha. I do apologize if I mess up some of this reading. I do have a little bit of dyslexia, and there's actually a lot. Learn more. Let's have a look. Is this just going to bring us straight back to where we were? Holy cow, there's a lot. There's a lot, guys. Discover the maps. Hourglass. Discarded. Manifest. Kaleidoscope. Kaleidoscope? Or is it kaleidoscope? Is it supposed to be kaleidoscope? Orbital. Breakaway. Renewal. Oh, it's got the location. Oh, we'll go over that in a second. Let's read some of this, and I do apologize if my dyslexia kind of pops in a little bit. Escape from Doha. September 12th, 2041. So this is obviously a build-up to the game, and this is in Qatar. It all began a year ago, surfacing a darknet browser in my hometown of Doha, which I have no idea where Doha in Qatar is. Back when it was still an inhabited by people, as a journalist, I'd become keenly interested in the issues of armed no-pats, trying to find a contact within the ranks of these stateless soldiers. Finally, at 3:28 a.m., an anonymous source DM'd me, claiming to be the most wanted man alive, the commander of the largest contingent of no-pat forces known to the world simply as Oz. Interesting. I'd gotten such messages before, but it was never the real Oz. Some came from government agents waging anti-no-pats campaigns, and one guy had even accused me of being Oz, hiding in plain sight. That is really interesting there. So we've got government propaganda. It's popping in a little bit of government propaganda in there, which is really, really interesting. I wonder if that's going to play a big role in this game, or at least in the story. But this was different, if for no other reason than the chat ended with me needing to flee the country as the Qatari police broke down my door for aiding a terrorist. It would be the only time in my life I ever welcomed an approaching sandstorm. Oh, okay. And we can make this big, can we? Oh, that's so cool. It gives me very much Blade Runner vibes right here. Definitely got Blade Runner vibes right here. This is once hailed as the city of quartz in her LED skyline. By the 40s, sand had become to Doha what water was to Venice. After years of fighting the encroaching desert, only those who couldn't afford to leave remained under the massive LED skyline. Still relentlessly promoting luxury handbags, Qatar had thrived in the 30s thanks to skyrocketing oil prices. The country invested heavily in combating desertification, hoping to copy Egypt's success. For a time, it seemed we might tame nature. Then the oil ran out. Ooh, yeah, so obviously oil bringing in all the money is going to bugger them, isn't it? Famines, failed responses to them, and government protests all accompanied the sand monsoons. Soon there were military police everywhere, ready to arrest everyone that risked Qatar becoming the next non-patrioted flashpoint. My browser had the wrong search history. Let's have a look at this picture. Damn. It's pretty damn cool, isn't it? Never I thought I'd welcome an approaching sandstorm. That's what that one's called. The sandstorm's covering is keeping me alive. Hiding from the armored vehicles hunting me down, I begin to notice anomalies in the LED adverts. Buried within the images is an unmistakable no-pat emblem, a flag with a slash through it. Guessing that's that down there. The breadcrumbs led me to the catacombs under the abandoned football stadium. A 50-ish military man in Bermuda shorts who relaxed demeanor is extremely off-putting. Points casually with his flashlight to a tunnel entrance, guarded by a mechanical sentry system. He puts out his hand. Piotr Guskavsky. He grunts, then in perfect Arabic, this was a one-time thing. Okay, so this is the expat sign. This is officially the sign of the expats, right? It's kind of cool. It's very simple, right? Can easily be sprayed on things. Across that flag, the unofficial sign of the no pass. So it's the unofficial sign of the no pass, which actually I'm going to talk about that after I finish this part 1. As I disappeared into the dark while the winds howled overhead, I wondered if I'll ever be able to call Doha home again. Little do I know, in less than a year later, Qatar would be a failed state and the city of Doha lost to the sand. So when it says so I just want to kind of move back a little bit. When it says unofficial sign of the no pats, it makes me feel like at some point in this story, the no pats are going to become an official kind of organization. Right? That's how I feel about this. The no pats are going to become an official organization, putting themselves up there with some of the countries. That's how I feel by them, because they specifically said unofficial sign. They could have just said the sign on the no pats, right? So they're kind of placing something else in there. Obviously, all these cities are going to ruin once the oil run out. Well, this specific one, when the oil ran out because of money, so they weren't able to prevent sandstorms. Very interesting story so far. I think it's very simple. Nothing complicated as of right now. It's very tropey, but not in a bad way. I kind of like it. Ooh, we got some good pictures in this one. I'm going to read through all these guys because I'm really excited. So this is in India. So the last one was September 12th, 2041. This is November 1st. The Magic Act. Alang, India. Be careful what you wish for. Almost 2 months after fleeing Doha, Oz breadcrumbs led me to a safe house made of shipping containers in India. Filled with no-pats armed to the teeth, amongst them were a former intelligence officer, former doctor, nightclub bouncer, car mechanic. They all tried to hide that side of themselves, the former. But if you looked hard enough, you could find it in every tall tale and weary smile. Let's look at this picture. I feel like this is the first official kind of picture we get of civilization. Very interesting. He's just pulling out money for kids. It's making no-pats kind of look like good people right now. Look at this. It's making governments look bad. That's what this story is giving me so far, is that the no-pats are rebels. It's kind of like Star Wars against Vader and everyone. Like it feels like they're going against the bigger governments, and I like it. I kind of like it. Let's have a look here. A specialist Navin Rao, a notorious Indian hacker and that must be him. Yeah, that's him right there. Indian hacker and ex-Marcos officer, explained to me, armed task force cropped up in the 30s when moving cargo between the non-patrioted around the globe became a lethal occupation. In response, world governments cracked down on all no-pats, treating them as smugglers and pirates. To that, Ryo, I think his name's Ryo, can only shrug. That's why we always wear eye patches when delivering food rations to stranded families. Who else is going to help no-pats if not other no-pats? Okay. Was Ryo's spin the whole truth? There were only one way to find out. Of course, this task force seemed to be without one key ingredient, a boat. The fact that... Interesting, okay. The fact that we were in Alang, the largest ship-breaking yard in the world, provided a clue. This is going to be a heist. Okay. Let's look at this ship. Damn. That's kind of cool as well. And I'm getting super like dystopian vibes from this whole game. Big dystopian vibes. All right, where was we? Shipping is a simple business. More goods than ships, the price goes up. More ships than goods, the price goes down. In the late 30s, in the wake of the Second Great Depression, the world had nothing to move. To prop up prices, the industry turned to ship-breaking facilities like Alang to convert unused and weathered fleets back into high tensile steel. Tensile steel? But soon, Alang became famous for something else. Magic. How else could you explain the whole freighters vanishing into thin air, only to be discovered months later amongst the ever-growing NOPAT fleet? Okay, so they were getting the ships from there. It was the city's worst-kept secret. Corrupt businessmen were selling ships intended for scrap to NOPATs on the black market, but the Indian military would soon put a stop to it. Let's look at this picture. Super cool world building so far. Super cool world building. It's as if they want, like, people who really want the story, here you go, here it is. People who just want the multiplayer, you can just play the multiplayer. Not a big deal. In the gale force winds that night, the gunfire sounds like it's coming from every direction. As the Indian army pursues us, Rayo brushes off a glancing wound and takes the helm, piloting us around the black iron corpse of ships that block the escape route. I wonder, so are we going to get this in the 9-minute video? Is that what we're going to get? It's a fleet that would have been spectacular on a clear day, but with 25-foot swells and the boat rocking like a sailor on shore leave. That's funny. It's sheer skill that shakes our pursuer in the graveyard of tankers. By 1:32 a.m. GMT, the magic act is complete, and we vanish across the 21st parallel. Our beat-up container ship, unofficially dubbed the Copperfield, begins her journey as an OPAT. Interesting. We're getting a full-on story here. We are getting a full-on story, aren't we? I'm very, very impressed so far. What's this in the way? What's this? Get out of the way. No, I don't want to know the weather. Part 3, Coyote Run. Alright, so that was November 1st, 2041. Quite a big time jump now. Quite a big time jump. Brenny Islands, Singapore. This is Coyote Run Part 3. What time are we on? 18 minutes, whatever. I'm enjoying myself. Even for those with nothing to lose, this was crazy. After months of moving everything from processors to pork bellies, the latest cargo, 65 Australian refugees, added Coyote to this task force resume. I held my breath when our next stop appeared through the mist. It was a pin-drop silence as our ship passed through the sea wall protecting Brenny Island, Singapore state of the automated seaport. Ryo's wizardry may have gotten us convincing credentials for the scanners, but I knew if the famous brutal Singaporean port authority got a whiff of the boat, it would get real loud real fast. Yeah, okay, so this is the... okay. It's a checkpoint. It's a checkpoint. Fancy way of saying checkpoint. Which is really cool because it also breaks the waves, which plays again into the climate disaster that's going on with this game. It's literally playing into that same effect. So not only are they using the climate disaster to, they're breaking that away, but they're using it to their advantage by being able to check out every ship that comes in and out of the port. Again, fantastic world building. Fantastic world building. Brenny Island's seawall shielded it from the massive storms of the 30s. Of the 30s? Oh, so this must have been like an old picture because it's supposed to be the 40s right now. By the mid-30s, rising sea levels had disseminated a third of all commercial ports around the world. In a deft response, Singapore built a revolutionary seawall to defend its AI-driven cargo distribution system, making Brenny Island the central hub of global trade. Interesting. The no-pats problem is piss PR. Specialist Casper Van Gailey grumbles. Singapore used to tolerate us, but it got messy when every terrorist and his mother started calling themselves no-pats for the same tea and sympathy. America was already afraid of losing control of this place, so they wielded all of the bad press to force Singapore into shutting all no-pat fleets out. So again, the government's playing to this. The government are turning around and being like, we don't want anything to do with this. Let's push them out as much as possible. The port is fully automated at Brian Island, but no system is invulnerable to hackers. So obviously that's going to play a big part into this, because obviously this is a map as well. That is so cool. That is so cool. By some miracle, we docked undetected. Casper deployed an OVP recon drone to make sure we're clear as Rio ushers the refugees into the beat-up shipping containers that's been outfitted with cots, a latrine, and supplies for them to last 10 days. Makes you wonder what's in any of these containers. Yeah, because if there's loads of containers and there's refugees in one of them, who knows, right? The last refugee isn't able to slip into the hiding spot before sirens erupt. Rangers, parentheses, robotic quad... These must be them little dog things, right? Quadrupeds with guns for brains seamlessly fall out the sky, rushing towards our boat. Casper quickly snipes our mechanical assailants. Sorry, again, my dyslexia kind of plays in when I'm reading out loud. As the Copperfield lurches out of the docks. Amazingly, Rio hacks into the automated distribution system on the island, dropping containers wherever he can to block our escape. It's not enough. The SPA pursues us into the open water. Gunfire screams, more gunfire, silence. Then I hear an ear-splittering cannon shot. My heart drops as I wait for the impact until I realize where the blast orientated. We're just going to skip it. A constellation of vessels on the horizon. A no-pat fleet. Fishing trawlers. Container ships. Tugboats and more. There's no telling how many are armed, and the SPA has no intent in finding out. They turn tail, it seems, among the 1.2 billion displaced out in the world. This task force has at least a few friends. Holy cow. So the no-pats are big. They are big. And it was originated, by the way. Fuck you, dyslexia. The no-pats are big. And we're on to what actually is the last part. Part 4, the third faction. I'm going to read this. I'm going to give you my thoughts on the whole thing, okay? Somewhere in the Yellow Sea. This is May 8th, 2042. So we've got another relatively big time jump here. Oz takes need to know to a whole new level, says McKay with a theoretical eye roll. We get our destination via telegraph with a fortune cookie's worth of intel. Then hold on to your butts. Hence why we've been floating aimlessly in the Yellow Sea for 2 days, waiting to hear from on high. Thankfully, there had been a steady stream of news on the wire to keep me focused on something other than losing my lunch. One AUN story in particular would soon intersect with this boat in spectacular fashion and shed light on Oz's machinations. At approximately 7:30 a.m., an executive assistant at Daesong Electronics, made out with 10 petabytes of internal data from their headquarters in Songdo, South Korea, on a stolen corporate helicopter. The criminal response for the breach, an unassuming Korean woman in her 20s, was suspected of being foreign intelligence asset, most likely American or Russian, of course. They couldn't have been more wrong. The Songdo Grand Park after the explosion event at the Daesung headquarters. Let's look at this. Amazing. It's another map. And it looks phenomenal. I think that might be one of my favorite ones so far that I've seen. South Korea's economy is one of the success stories of the last decade. Not just surviving, but thriving. However, one company deserves the lion's share of credit: Daesung Electronics. Before the blackout, almost the entire world had switched to satellite internet. SpaceX, is that you? After the disaster in 2040 plunged into the dark ages, this earthbound ISP sprang up from obscurity with a next-gen solution they'd been developing for underserved markets. Okay. It was called KNet, promising to get the world back online without needing to repopulate the heavens with expensive hardware. Interesting. By the spring of 2041, Daesung had 60% of all internet traffic running through its veins. Holy cow. Which eventually flowed onto the quantum data center in the heart of Songdo. Songdo? For the US and Russian intelligence networks, infiltrating that trove of information would provide an overwhelming tactical advantage. What I didn't realize was that there was a third faction interested in Daesung, entrenched in the Intel Wars. So the Intel Wars is so cool. Daesung funded the construction of Grand Park in the wake of Hurricane Vera. Let's have a look at this. Damn, that's some big hurricane. All right. I finish the news and go above the deck for some air when I spot something in the distance. A flaming jet black helicopter with an unmistakable Daesung logo emblazoned on its side. Everyone rushed over to the edge of the ship and the chopper crashes. When that unassuming Korean woman from the headline floats down across the deck and with her parachute. I'll come to know her as Specialist Jisoo Paik, the no-pat mole who infiltrated Daesung at Oz's beheist. As Casper and Rayo usher her below deck, my brain is firing with a million miles an hour. After Singapore, I was convinced all no-pats were sympathetic underdogs, making hard choices to help destitute survive. To help the destitute survive. But here were some infiltrating tech giants beating the superpowers at their own games. Perhaps the conspiracy theories aren't all fake news. Interesting. They had to put that one in there, didn't they? Interesting. Okay, so that pretty much puts us smack bang to Pineapple Express. Continue the journey Monday. So on Monday, we're going to get a bit... Monday. That is the 9th. So we're going to get a bit more today, actually, when this goes live. Maybe before we watch the short video on the 12th, which is Thursday, I will go over part 5 and whatever else is out there as well. We've got 4 days. So what do I think is going to happen? So it's really setting this up to show you that the no-pats are actually pretty much the good guys, right? They're the good guys and the governments are the bad guys. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting from this. It's a super rebel story. But as he explains in this, the rebels aren't necessarily just poor people who do need a lot of help. Excuse me. It's actually a lot of different people who are trying their hardest to make it through this world. Now that we've done that, let's have one last look at this trailer and we'll call it a day there. And I might do a bit of a prediction video because I think I know what's going to happen.
The world wants to forget we exist. We will force them to see.
Yeah. Oh, God, it looks so good. It looks so good. I've already got the game pre-ordered, and I know we don't usually pre-order games anymore because, you know, you can always get disappointed. But for the most part, I'm excited for this. One last quick thing, actually, before we do leave. I just want to go here. Oh, I already had it up. My bad. I want to go here, and I want to quickly just look at the maps, okay? So we've got Hourglass. Fighting a city lost to the desert. Oh, so, okay, so this is literally going through all the places that have been talked, right? That's literally all it's doing. And we're going to get... Find out more. Why is it... It literally keeps telling me, find out more, find out more, find out more. Just tell me. Oh, it's sending me back in a circle. Okay. So we've got Hourglass, which is in Qatar. We've got Discarded, which is in India. We've got Manifest in Singapore. Kaleidoscope in South Korea. I think that one looks beautiful, that map. Orbital in French. Oh, I wonder if these are the other places we're going to go to then. I wonder if these are the other places we're going to go to. Breakaway, Antarctica. Oh, I bet that's a good one as well. And Renewal in Egypt. Giant wall built to secure rich man-made agricultural areas takes center stage at this intense map. Prepare for an extreme condition. Deploy and secure the access points and massive gates at the wall. I just want to play as Nopats. And we get some classic maps as well. Battle of the Bulge. Oh, yes. I'm hyped for that. El Alamein. Hell yes. Arica Harbor. I don't know if it's from Bad Company 2. I haven't played that game yet, so that's okay. Valparaiso. Not played Bad Company 2. Casper Border from Battlefield 3. And No Shark Canals. I remember that map. Holy. Classic maps. I'm excited for Battle of the Bulge. I'm excited for Arica Harbor. It looks kind of like up my alley right here. And I'm very excited for Renewal, Breakaway. In fact, I'm excited for all of these. I don't think there's a single one that I'm like, nah. Like, all these maps get me hyped. All right. I'm going to be talking for days about this, guys. I'm super excited. We're going to be breaking down every bit of lore for Battlefield 2042 when the game comes out. I'm going to be searching for the lore in the game. That's what I'm going to do on this channel. I think, you guys obviously watch me play story-driven games all the time. But for me, I really, really love a bit of an Easter egg hunt, right? So when Battlefield 2042 comes out, it's actually what I'm going to do for Halo Infinite as well, actually, is I'm going to be searching the game endlessly, finding every little tidbit of story. Okay, guys. But for now, members, you're amazing. I love you. I couldn't do this without you. I honestly couldn't make videos every single day if it wasn't for you members. So thank you for supporting the channel as much as you do. I truly, 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 truly appreciate it more than you think. Links down below to all of my socials, including the 2 different YouTube channels, Original Human Geek and Original Adventures. Original Adventures just reached 10,000 subs. So thank you, everyone who's checking out the vlogs of me and my wife converting a school bus. Until next time, I love you all. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.